Oh my goodness me, what a stream.
Indeed.
What a stream. Yeah, good fun.
What a flipping stream. You want to know how much we raised?
Yeah, well, yeah. How much was it in total?
After the fact, there were a few more donations that came in after we finished. £2,682 raised for Mind.
Nice.
Excellent. We began our previous episode of Podiots saying, wow, what a stream. But we didn't actually know.
We mean it now.
Yeah.
We have actually done the stream now at this point.
We've got the numbers to back it up. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for your generosity. Absolutely monumental effort from all involved. Big round of applause. And a special shout out to Finn Tristram, the winner of the Crown and Glory Dave's Used Toilet Seat.
Proud owner. Thanks to anyone who was involved in that bidding war, because it was thrilling. I really enjoyed watching that. I was really concerned it was just going to, cap out at a couple of £100 and then just sit there forever. And we'll just slowly watch it tick down. But man, it really jumped up a few times.
Up and up. It's not honest work, but it's a trifle. And we're here with all the money raised, and we got a lovely certificate from Mind.
Oh, yeah.
A digital certificate. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic charity, and we do want to do another one of these again before too long, because it's been too long.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. We had a wonderful time. We had a lot of people tune in. Booth was very generous with her donation as well. Several people extremely generous, but all of you were flipping wonderful. So thank you. You can view the full VOD now on the YouTube channel. If you want to go check it out, see all the crazy times that we had.
See some fantastic DVD games, the height of gaming, as Vidiots is known for.
Yeah, so good.
Oh, dear.
Well, back to business as usual. Let's run that music, shall we?
Yeah, I suppose so. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podiots, the official Vidiots podcast. It's a conversational podcast where we take some questions from you at home and obey the law of the 3 Earths, where everybody brings
a thing along to talk about.
I'm Ben.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Michael.
Hey, it's good to chat with you boys again. It's been a minute. We've delayed a couple of episodes this month, which is not like us. No. We usually stay pretty on target, but various things have happened. But we're here, and we're ready to have some silliness. Are you prepared?
Very.
Aftermath?
Silliness coming out the wazoo, my friend.
Right.
Watch your language.
If you have
please.
silliness coming out of your wazoo, please consult
a physician.
physician.
You've had too much Dominoes if you haven't silliness come out.
Oh, no, silliness. It's coming out of my wazoo again.
Oh, no.
Not again. Are you good, Mikey?
I'm Gucci. The sun's shining. I'm just a simple little plant. All I need to be happy is a bit of sunshine, and my God is the lovely sun delivering. It's all I can talk about at the minute. I try not to live up to British stereotypes.
The sun's
weather.
out.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's hot, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, hope it doesn't get cold again soon.
Nice.
And it's literally what me and Ashton talked about on the way to and on the way back from Tesco at lunchtime today. So
isn't it nice? Oh yeah,
it's great. Talking
It's
about
riveting.
things we've done in the sun before, sharing sun anecdotes.
Oh, sunecdotes is good. I like that. That's fun. Mikey, have you considered, now that, again, go watch the stream VOD if you haven't seen it already, now that you are a shaved-headed man,
Oh, yes.
I want updates on that anyway, generally speaking. What's life like now? But also, now that it's sunny, isn't it sunny?
This is
sunny,
proper sunny, isn't it?
Have you thought about the sun cream situation? Are you going to have to sun cream your dome?
Yeah.
Well, bald-headedness for a start. Jesus Christ, it's breezy. Like immediately after the stream finished, I ran down the stairs and I felt like a cool breeze in my head. I was like, oh my God, that was weird. I've never felt that before. It's just like day-to-day activities now feel generally colder. It's nice though. I'm very streamlined and aerodynamic, which I'm a big fan of.
So much faster now.
But yes, the sun is attacking my little dome. I went on Saturday, I had a big grand day out and came home with a quite stingy head, which is great.
Oh, no.
But I'm actually quite enjoying my short head style. I think I maybe won't go full bald again, but I'm not opposed to a buzz cut now. Now I know it's there, it's an option. I think it's a life-changing experience. Thanks, charity, for making this possible for me.
Thank you, charity.
Now I'd have to spend hours doing my hair every morning. God, the time I've saved is immense.
True.
It's all done. We should all do it. Everyone on Earth.
All of us. Think how fast we'll all be.
Yeah.
Brilliant. How are you, Peter? Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes. I've managed to dodge the office COVID wave. Also, touch wood, so far, dodging all the colds and flus that are around. We've had colds in the office.
Wow.
There is a cold at home. With it's inside my fiance.
The cold inside my fiance.
Very few things are allowed inside my fiance, least of all a cold. And I so far have dodged that as well. But
Nice.
Well done.
we'll see how we get on.
I think Ben's done it right, though. As I was saying to him, get it now, then you got your antibodies. Hot boy summer, bam, you're going to be safe. You can do
You're
whatever the
right.
hell you want.
No, hang on. You didn't call it hot
No.
boy summer, Michael. You called it white boy summer.
White
I
boy
was all
summer.
about that. Because
Pink
hot boy
boy
summer, pink lobster boy summer. I don't know if I'm all about hot boy summer. I don't know if I fit the bill.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they're looking for boys like me. White boy summer, though,
That's you to a T.
I am ready for white boy summer. That's for sure.
Well, I was going to
Yeah.
say, how are you
I'd
doing,
go.
Ben? But
I'm doing much better now. Thank you. My undefeated streak with COVID ended last week. Or the week before, I suppose. I tested positive after it went around the office to a couple of people. And, well, it was shit. Not quite as shit as I imagine it was for a lot of people who weren't double jabbed and boosted, but it was still pretty rubbish. So, yeah, I'm over it now. Bit snotty, but I don't know if I've maybe transitioned seamlessly directly into one of those colds. you were
yeah,
talking
it's
about.
possible.
So,
You had a
yeah, it's
stowaway. Came in with the COVID.
all nostrils are go currently. So
Congratulations on retaining your sense of smell and taste, though.
thank you. That was a really lucky one.
Yeah,
it
it's
did
weird.
dull a bit, but then it came back almost immediately, and I was really happy about that.
Sounds odd. Sounds like a
very
strange
weird.
thing.
Yeah, just one day, and I just woke up and I couldn't smell anything. I was like, oh no. And I started getting smells, but they were just like really foul smells. This is worse. Take me back to the no smells.
I hate this. This is terrible.
dear.
Well, we're all in fine health, though, sort of, currently, I think.
I mean, Mikey makes a
mostly.
good point. Maybe I should just go around like licking COVID things,
You
COVID
should really
things.
catch it.
Have
Because
like a pox party.
yeah, I don't want to get it.
Yeah.
Like when I'm supposed to be getting married, for example, in a few months' time.
Well, go to an anti-vax demonstration. You'll probably pick it up.
Piss
You'll pick
everyone.
something up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably the way to go. Well, we live in a first world country, and we have we have socialized healthcare, as all nations should really have in America. So we don't really need your help with Peter's medical bills, but you never know. It could get pretty. He might need a specialist a specialist service that the NHS doesn't cover.
I actually
So,
go private all the time. So
if you would consider helping Peter pay for his booper bills, then maybe go to streamlabs.com/Podiots donations. If you donate £3 or more, you get a shout out at the beginning and the end of the show, and we really, really appreciate it. In fact, we've just used some of our Podiots donations to renew our Podbean subscription so we can host this podcast in the first place.
I
So, there
simply
you go.
will not share a ward with anyone else. I want my own room with a telly.
Yes, you don't want a curtain room. Those
No.
are the worst.
Barely a room at
Absolutely
all.
not.
Not having that. Well, Mikey has the first group of Pod Squad to read out.
Attention, it's the plumpy... oh, God, I always do that.
Fuck!
I'm falling at the first hurdle. I mean, if I get my mistakes out straight away, then surely it can't happen again, right? We begin with Bram Stoker-on-Trent. Very good. A humble pair of giant tits. Thank you. The very generous pro trainer. And they say, please accept my apologies for forgetting to join Pod Squad last week. I would just like to say I loved Mikey's sandwich battle. However, I am disappointed he didn't include vegan options. Much love, Keese Keese. Pro
Could
trainer.
have been vegan cheese.
Yeah, you can substitute most of those things. Yeah. Well, I mean, the toast sandwich, that's pretty vegan.
Yeah, I mean, that's just fucking bread, isn't it?
Go to town on that bad boy. Thank you very much, Mr. Trainer.
Thank you.
Raindrop Joy, Stephen Skodes. Can't shag it. You
Shack
know...
it.
Can't what?
Shack.
That's a...
Shack.
that's a cue. Sorry. Can't shack it. There we go. You know, it's all about Dakum. Vidiots is not a cult. Wait, was it? No. Was there a President Nixon who said something like that? No, I'm not a crime. I'm not
I'm not a crook.
Yes, that's it. I was way off there. Never mind, ignore me.
Vidiots is not a crook.
I did not have sexual relations with that Vidiots.
Exactly.
Ploppy McPlopface. Mr. Black, but 2 weeks late. What's the French for 19? Oh, don't make me do French. 19. 19. Ha, got him. 19. Ha, got him.
Ha, got je.
Got je. Oui. Thank you very much. Scott Chegg. Very good. Big Titty Jesus, 42. Keys. Billy Ray Cypress. Had a big shit. And the generous, I can be trusted with a gun. He. The annotations, he. Smiley face.
The URL.
Oh, the URL. https:// they've sent us a genius link to the Dick and Dom Stoke-on-Trent song lyrics, and they say, I told you about Feldhuse, and I told you about this. I'm your ghostwriter at this point. Expect a visit from me to collect my salary. I have a Colt revolver from a war. Is that a threat?
Oh my God.
It goes to strange places, this donation message. I couldn't really make heads or tails of it.
I have a Colt revolver from our war or the war? Hang on, what did that say? Our war.
Oh, God. Please stay away from us. Thank you. Thank you for the money.
Thank you so much.
We'll send it back if you promise me you won't come near us. Oh, wow, yeah, there's a Genius article, and it's got, like, annotations and everything for, key bits of information.
It translates the word pussy for pussycat as female genital, and they've been upvoted once, or twice that's been upvoted as a translation.
Stoke-on-Trent, home of job centre. Fantastic.
It's good.
And that's it.
My favourite place is annotated as... was a primary school, but got banned for two-footing a reception. What is this?
If you scroll down on the website, it uses the BBC font. It's really throwing me off.
Very good. In the Lose Yourself bit, in the notes, it's just the entire lyrics to Eminem's Lose Yourself.
The top. There are 4 contributors, apparently.
Wow.
MC Flap Kisser. Jimmy Savile 69.
Oh no.
Cool G21 and Big Daddy Benji Boy.
Oh, nice. What a squad.
Jeez. What? Okay. Well, the list continues with the Tiny Troop, Don Acco 7, Finn Tristram, Rip Scott Hall, the very generous Ben returns to F1, who says, I'm sorry, Ben, but I had to mention that Kevin Magnussen, blonde man with beard, is back in F1. In serious talk, thank you for providing an occasional escape from helping my mum to deal her mum changing last year. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
I think that's appropriating the Vidiots changing.
Yeah, it is. Wow, that's kind of dark.
I'm sorry about the passing of your grandma.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, but it's an interesting way of putting it, certainly.
Thank you so much.
All the best. Thank you for your generosity.
Hope you're doing well.
Big Ben 2 Massive Mohammed, Mr. Blobby's Blobber Job, Vidiotsofficial.com, Bargain Hunt Butt Plug, Peter Pumpkin Fucker. Ben, will you marry me? Mr. Blobby becomes a roofer. I've sharted, so I'll finish. Wow. Mystic Chegg, who was very generous, that's a good name, and said, ordered a bumpis for tea. Extra garlic was £1.50.
Jesus.
But I had a half-price coupon, so please take the change. Keep up the good work, boys. Thank you, Mystic Chegg.
Thank you so much.
Skipton Castle, best castle. It is a pretty good castle. I've been there.
Is it?
Yeah. Bartek, who was very generous and said, in these terrible times, you make me laugh to tears. Thanks again, also, for including me, even if it was tasteless and too long. Because Bartek provided the Polish foods in the previous episode. I forgot about Siki Teskjevej biscuits, which translates to mother-in-law's tits. As you can imagine, they are delicious.
Oh, no.
Lovely.
How did you forget that one, Bartek? Come on. Ben Potter is Kevin Magnuson, and fucking sandwich travesty.
Yeah, fair. I'll give that.
Brilliant. Thank you. The final group, the fast crew, we've got monskaz.swf. Yes? Is that
Yeah.
What did you, Monskaz?
Monskaz.
Mucky Pete Bin. Open, Vlad. I want to Putin these nuts.
Oh, nice.
We stand with Ukraine. Just keep swimming, Ash. Mr. Black on time this time. Mr. Black on time this time. Peter Yuck. Anyone's Yum Austin. Mr. Macca, the very generous Lonely Marmite Sandwich, who says, long-time viewer making his first donation. Keep up all the great work.
Cheers,
Very
fella.
much.
Thank you so much. Nasty name for Ben to say out loud. That's disgusting. Come on.
Abhorrent.
Contrasting that, Fingy come outer bum stinky. Thank you. Pack of Dave Benson and Hedges. The very generous Bobbly Noriho, who says it was an honour to participate in the DBP toilet seat bidding war. I'll admit that the red mist descended in those final few seconds, and I pushed the price far beyond what I could afford, but the faster man or woman won, as did a worthy charity. Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Tommy the Spank Engine, Prince Beefcakes, and Wilma Dickfit. Thank you so much. That is your pod squad for this week. We'll give you a shout out again at the end of the show. £3 or more. Streamlabs.com/Podiots donations. Peter Austin?
I've got questions here. I've got one from Troweling Badger, who said, Nadine Dorries, who's somehow Secretary of State for Digital, recently asked Microsoft when it was going to, quote, get rid of algorithms. Is there anything you would want removed from the web? Say, an annoying meme, or a website or app that makes life worse? Secretary of State for Digital... for digital, culture, media, and sport. Okay,
Wow,
well,
that's a hell of a banner to
things.
be in charge
Yeah.
of. Yeah. The best thing from like these court cases with like massive internet conglomerates is just the asinine questions that get asked.
Yeah.
It's like people are asking like basic stuff like how does it work? Like how is this stored? Is it just in the air? No, it's hard drives and data centers. But how does that
That's why
work?
it's important to elect people who know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, not people who share minion memes on Facebook and that kind of thing.
yes, exactly.
Speaking of which, Facebook, get in the
Yes, God, instant, just get away. We've had this hand of time. Let's bring back Bebo or something good. Some good-natured
Yeah.
social media.
bin. Anything you've done or worked on that you don't like?
Well, that was partly what I thought of when the question was asked. I was like, is there anything out there that I find kind of, embarrassing or that I wish had been, could be taken down? I don't think there's anything that springs to mind. I mean, I guess, like, maybe looking back now at some of my earlier What Culture stuff, I'm sure that I would find some of those, kind of a little bit off. We've come a long way in terms of, presenting and writing and so on. But I don't think I care enough that they're on the internet. I don't think I'd want them removed. I mean, my gut was I was going to say something along the lines of Facebook. I don't know. What about you guys? Anything else?
Maybe this is just nostalgia speaking, but I missed the good old days of what I consider the golden age of the internet, where it feels like now, whenever I'm on the internet, I flick between 3 sites and that's about it. And that's that's about all I consume. And I miss the days where I had like a forum for everything, like different communities. Now it's all like consolidated into one place with Discord and whatnot. But
Subreddits and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same. I mean, it is by all means the same, but it's not the same, if you know what I mean. So I think I'd fragment the internet and make things more difficult, but it would make the pursuit, the discoveries more exciting and more meaningful, and it's all too easy now.
I agree. Like some of the communities I was involved in when I was kind of maybe like 13, 14. And I was really hazed onto the internet by people that I, shared forums with, and, like some of the stuff that I saw at that age and some of the stuff I was subjected to. I think in a way it was quite character building. I know that there's obviously there are lines.
Peter doesn't feel anything anymore,
and they were crossed.
Yeah, well, yeah, they probably were. But I sort of feel like I owe a lot to that sort of era of the internet, because I was a member of forums for like people who were doing. I mean, I didn't do Flash animation, but like there was a forum that had a load of animators on it, and stuff like that. Like, I think that it kind of teaches you like what works creatively in terms of like, making funny content and so on. And I think like being part of a community like that probably in some way has shaped the kind of sense of humor that I've got, and like the way that I probably write things and so on. So I think like there's a lot to be said for like smaller communities that are slightly lawless. It's a bit of a Wild West internet, but all within the realms of keeping people safe still. I wouldn't want anyone, getting in trouble, but
I mean, again, this might be me being old man yells at cloud, but everything right now is very clout chasey. It's very much get numbers big. That's the goal. But I think, back, I mean, at least when I was on forums, like sharing crappy Stickman animations, it was just a group of people sharing shit and telling you like the most detestable words you've ever seen and linking you to shock sites. And I miss that.
Yeah. You also have to remember though that access to the internet is at an unprecedented level compared to where we were.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the reason, isn't it, really?
We all saw fucked up stuff as kids on the internet. Like, infants have iPads, so there's a level of safeguarding that has to be considered. But you are right about the clout chasing. Like, it actively impacts Peter and I's day job, obviously every day, because we don't have the right, perhaps, number of people. We don't have the right number next to a particular profile to be taken seriously by such and such place, for example.
Certain PR or whatever.
So it's not about the quality of the work you're putting out. It's about what number does that say, and that is important. But at the same time, there's this whole toxic culture surrounding it where such importance is put on those numbers, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, in a sense, I mean, in terms of my day job, I wouldn't wish for this, but from a different angle, I would wish that YouTube wasn't monetizable. If you could go back to the days before there were ads, before people were doing it to make a living, people were just doing it for. I mean, there were still obviously metrics like view counts and sub counts and stuff, and so people were still there was still an element of clout chasing even back then, but. I think when people are just doing it essentially for the love of it and for a hobby and to just kind of, again, there was more of a sense of community back then, I would say. Whereas now it's either big businesses, like media networks, or it's, individuals, but they essentially are a business. They're a brand. They have huge bank accounts and deal with PR and stuff like that. I kind of miss just bedroom webcam vloggers and people just going out and about and doing stupid stuff.
I agree. Very selfishly, I'd actually get rid of Fortnite. That's
wow.
I would wipe, and that's not because I think Fortnite is bad, and I'm really glad so many, mostly kids, enjoy it. The problem is that it's such an unprecedented success, and we've definitely, you can go check out Triple Jump if you want to hear more about this kind of topic of conversation. But it's such an unprecedented level of success that it started to negatively impact the other games that I enjoy as other companies try to copy that success, and I don't like that. I think Fortnite is so successful that it kind of should be left alone and keep that shit out of my otherwise single player games, please. Just wipe it off. Just get rid of it. Sorry, kids.
Every game that comes out now is open world Minecraft Fortnite, essentially.
Yeah, live service. Gotta have it. Don't like it. There we are.
Wonderful. Who's got a thing?
I've got a thing.
Yeah.
I've got a lovely little thing. My thing is in regards to crime, punishment, and most importantly, justice. If you want to hear about that.
Punishment, and most importantly, crime.
The best ingredient. Right, so this is a tale that's been developing over the last couple of months. I'm slightly late to the party, but I still think it's such a fun little romp. I can't not share it. Okay. So this is in regards to our big fella, our number one guy, Hank the Tank.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with him?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if I am.
Oh, you've probably seen him about. He's a good boy. Well, he's not a good boy. Well, we'll get into that.
Or is he?
Oh, who'll decide? We'll find out. So yes, you may know him as Hank the Tank, but the California Department of Fish and Wildlife knows him as a threat to the Lake Tahoe neighborhood in California. I think it's California. God, I said that with such confidence.
Lake Tahoe in Atlanta.
California. It straddles the straight line. Oh, I don't know where it is. Anyway, it's in California. It's on the state line. Anyway.
Okay.
For months now, the 500-pound black bear has been roaming the streets in the Tahoe Keys area of South Lake Tahoe. In the span of 7 months, the animal caused extensive damage at 33 properties and forcefully entered at least 40 homes.
Oh.
Which is just a terrifying image. Like, you imagine a 500-pound bear, and it's bigger than you think. It's an
I'm looking at pictures
unit.
now.
It's a big boy.
I'm not familiar with this at all.
Oh, it's a roller coaster of a story. A Facebook paste, yeah, a lovely delicious paste by the department says he broke through a small window and somehow squeezed inside a house Friday when no one was there. He did not break into the garage, however, which is where the trash was kept. Clearly, this bear's only interested in the good, high-quality stuff, the food in the houses. Officers banged on the exterior of the home until he left through the back door, which he very politely opened the door and just scarfed it off. There's a picture attached to this of the window he squeezed through. It's like a big cat flap, and I've got no idea how he managed to get through it. It's absolutely impressive, so I commend his efforts. And Saturday, he is believed to have broken down a front door to enter yet another home. Police said they haven't confirmed the bear is Hank yet, but believe it is likely him. There have been no direct attacks on humans or pets in the areas, the fish and the wildlife department said. So Hank's only interested in it for the food. He's not here to cause trouble. Well, I mean, he is, but he's responsible with his trouble. He's not a danger. He's just hungry. Residents have flooded police lines with worried calls, and the wildlife department said more than 100 individual reports of the bear have come in to the South Lake Tahoe police. Though many residents have come face to face with the giant creature, Hank is known in the area as a quote-unquote gentle giant. I'm just going to say it. Fuck that. I don't care how gentle a bear is supposed to be. If I see that thing come towards me, I'm fleeing.
Yeah.
The second I can. And they say here, the gentle giant is constantly hungry, which makes sense for his size. Despite his harmlessness, authorities are determined to put a stop to the bear's wandering due to the property damage and fear he causes people. Wildlife Department spokesperson Peter Tira told CNN they have been tracking incidents with this black bear since the spring of 2021. Incidents primarily occurred over the summer and fall of 2021 when the bear was in hyperphagia, adding calories to survive the winter. This bear, according to the CDFW, has lost its fear of people almost entirely and now just associates people with access to food. And his large size helps him break into homes as he can push through front doors and garage doors with ease. Oh, what a terrifying image.
Go wherever he wants.
Yeah, fuck you, he's a bear. You can't stop him. Just hide. Local residents, as well as authorities, have attempted to frighten Hank away with loud noises, paintball guns, and even tasers, but he continues to forage into homes.
The Bear Patrol must be working like a charm.
Very good, very good. There are a few options to keep the community safe, the community and the bear safe. Got relocation, placing the bear in a facility, or, as a last resort, euthanasia. This last option has local bear advocacy groups, such as the Bear League, concerned.
I love the Bear League.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? What a team of superheroes.
Bet it's not even got any bears in it.
They're just big fans of bears. Anne Bryant, executive director of the group, told CNN affiliate KCRA, the bear does not have to die. And so this was the first article where Hank was exposed to the global population. And just a few short weeks afterwards, there was an exciting development in the case. DNA evidence has found that the black bear, nicknamed Hank the Tank, and it's just for fun here, also known as Jake, or Yogi, or simply Big Guy. That's a really good selection of nicknames there. Turns out Hank the Tank is in fact at least 3 hefty bears who have damaged more than 30 properties around Lake Tahoe. So our boy was getting, they're threatening him.
Are they just all wrapped up like in a big long overcoat so he can walk around and buy 18 VHSs? It's just 3 bears in a skin.
So yes, our poor boy, he was threatening the worst for them. Turns out he wasn't alone, and it would have had no impact on proceedings if they got rid of this bear, because turns out there's a whole gang.
Wow.
The inquisitive sleuth of chunky bears faces being trapped by the Department of Fish and Wildlife on Thursday to collect evidence for genetic analysis. The trio will then be released in a suitable habitat, and the agency said no trapped animals will be euthanized as part of the project. So, counting this as a victory at least so far.
Excellent.
The bears are responsible for more than 150 incident reports in the region, straddling Northern California and Nevada, including a break-in at a residence in the Tahoe Keys area last week. This is from a mix of articles, so this is all past tense now. I think this is quote of the century from Peter Tira. What's problematic about this bear is how large it is. Yes, absolutely.
That's true, yeah. Pretty accurate.
Once the trapping efforts begin, the 3 Hanks at least, there we go, right, emphasis, may well form a brigade. There was outrage from the residents over the bear hunt, and even attempts to scare away the bear from the area by playing noisy music or spray painting the phrase bear killer on traps, even though Hank himself can't read.
What?
It's very bizarre. This is
no!
Just put a sign there saying, Hank, do not eat this bait. Do not go in cage.
This is the signs of a community grip with fear, trying anything.
Classic Bear League.
Classic Bear League. Oh no, this is the anti-Bear League, the ABL.
Oh no.
Where was I? When residents believed the sleuth of bears was just one, Hank, they reported that he was gentle and didn't cause any damage. However, not everyone is too fond of having a 500-pound teddy bear roaming the streets. A spokesperson for the local California Department of Fish and Wildlife, I'm going to say it a lot of times, Peter Tira told the New York Times, "This is a bear that has lost all fear of people. It is a potentially dangerous situation." And on Wednesday, local police said they've been inundated with emergency calls about Hank. And after a while, the wildlife authorities in the area started facing numerous complaints, and they said, "Please stop calling us to give your opinions about Hank," they wrote in a Facebook post. The Bear League, who have been advocating for Hank, said in a Facebook post, "Hank no longer has a death sentence hanging over him, and he is no longer going to have his freedom taken away from him by sending him to a sanctuary. We fully support this decision and are grateful for the investigation into the truth that was taken seriously by the experts within the CDFW. Plans are to place him in plans are in space. Oh, Jesus, Michael, this is a lot of I'm out of practice. Plans are in place for a spring program to better monitor bear activity in the Keys and to help with better trash management. Although that seems futile because the bears are circumnavigating the trash and going straight to, the pile of hot dogs in someone's kitchen. Meanwhile, along with all of us at the Bear League, please be thankful that Hank... Fuck me,
Please
God!
be thankful.
Please be thankful that Hank will be alive, wild and free, beating my chest in victory. Our boy got justice, despite the constant body shaming of him here. Come on, leave him alone. He can't help it. He's so big.
I like to think the Bear League were the 3 other bears that they found DNA evidence for. All these posts are written by bears.
That creates a really good, the bears trying to free themselves by, big fan of that. I'm trying to find pictures of the Bear League to see who and what they are, but sadly there's not a lot of resources. But yeah, that's the story of Hank the Tank. And just for reference, I'm going to chuck an image of Hank into
that's a big
Hank.
Boy.
Yeah, very
There
big.
he is.
He does look very coy and shy and polite. So
He does look very polite. Yeah, that's a polite bear.
Definitely a gentle giant. I agree with that description now.
Gentle Ben, no.
He's got gentle eyes. Yeah, I don't know, even if I knew, like, if someone said to me for a fact, no, this bear, 100% safe, I'm not going near that thing.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, that's the situation so far, Hank. Things could develop further. It's still early days, but at least hibernation season's over. So theoretically, he's not as ravenously hungry anymore.
Yeah. We can't have another Harambe situation, so nobody hunt him, please.
No, please.
Please, no.
I'll do that. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you for listening.
Well, I've got quite a fitting question to move on to now from Corrosion Audio, James on Twitter, who says, have any of you had any scary encounters with a wild animal? Thank you, James. I've certainly not bumped into a 500-pound bear, but...
No, so I think, sadly in the UK, it's not a particular hub for scary wildlife, is it?
No, it's not. But maybe when you've been abroad or, maybe insects, spiders, things like that. Me and my sister were in a field next to our house, and there was this dog in there, this like little terrier that looked just kind of harmless. It was just kind of loose. Don't know where it had come from. And we knew that like you don't go over to dogs that you don't know. But we were nowhere near it really. We could just see it like just at the other end of the field. And it kind of wandered over towards us, very casual like, looked like it was, perfectly chill. And then when it was quite close, it suddenly ran over and just bit my sister on the leg.
Whoa!
And she had to go to, I don't know if she went to the GP or if she went to A&E, but they had to I don't know if they had to give her an injection or they had to find out whether she needed an injection. I don't know whether it was for, I think actually I seem to remember it being a tetanus injection, even though that's from rusty metal, isn't it?
Yeah, rusty
but maybe
dog.
Rusty dog, yeah. Maybe for some reason you can get tetanus from dog teeth. I don't know. I don't think it was a rabies injection, but you never know. Could have been. How about you guys? You ever had any encounters? Animal encounters?
I think I've had a couple now. I think about it. I think two scariest were once on a holiday to Egypt as a kid. Went paddling around in the sea, having a merry old time, and just in the water, I see a sea snake coming towards me.
Oh,
and like the other day, like me and my parents were discussing them because I think there's warnings about them plastered with all over the hotel, and I saw that thing and I just did like a proper Homer Simpson yelp, like a ah! And just it's like when you're running in a dream and it's like slow motion and heavy and hard, and it was exactly like that thanks to being in water, and I just powered through, got out of there, did not go back in the water again. I think they're mostly safe, but it's not a nice surprise to see.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Turkey, just outside the hotel, we went out for a walk and a group of wild dogs was there, and I was like, nope, absolutely not. That's unpredictable. Let's just stay in tonight. It was pretty terrifying. Well, in terms of domestic wildlife, I've been assaulted by seagulls before. Horrible bastards. Once saw just outside of the Yogg's office a seagull picking apart a pigeon. That was nice.
Oh.
And once in the town centre, I just opened up my delicious, quite expensive sandwich, about to take the first bite. Seagull swoops down, smacks you in the face, smacks it out my hands, and then 20 seagulls all piled in on it. I just had to stand and watch as a massive group of people all just quietly laughed at me. And it's great. And now I hate seagulls forever. Screw them. Embarrass me. I think, mice in general. I hate mice. They're just skittish, weird. No,
oh, really?
Not nice.
You're not a mice fan?
If they're enclosed, it's fine, but when they're out in the open, they're really unpredictable, and I don't like uncertainty in an animal. And yeah, they're cute to look at, but no, just slow down, guys. Be slow. Can deal with that.
Stop being rodents, please.
Yeah.
Stop that. I've never really encountered any scary animals. When I was in primary school, I was bitten by a dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just walking to the bus stop, and this guy was walking his dog, and the dog was barking at me, but I was, I had to walk past the dog, and then the dog just bit me on the hamstring, like just below my arse.
Jesus.
Bit me on the back of the leg. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know how to react. He was like, oh, bad dog, and then just walked off. I'm like, okay. Never got it checked out. I think it, clearly wasn't as bad as your sister's situation. But
I guess because the one that bit her, we didn't know whether it was like owned or stray or what.
Right.
Whereas
this one was definitely owned, but don't know much more about it. But that's it. That's my only real scary experience with animals.
Yeah.
Have I ever talked about my brother's anxious dog? Like clinically anxious?
No,
I don't think so.
My brother's got 2 French bulldogs. Like really sweet animals, very cute. Breathing problems for days, but cute. That's the main thing. And one of them's fine, totally chill dog. But the other one, for some reason, just has this deep sense of dread and anxiety instilled into his every fibre. And so he's great around my brother and his wife, like gets on fine with them, but anyone else, he transforms into this scared, rabid dog. And I've never crapped myself so much. We were going out for a walk with them. It's like, all right, let's get in the car. I got the lucky seat of being in the back seat with the dogs. Just as we pulled out, one of the dogs just snapped at me, started barking in my face ferociously. I was like, oh God. Deep down, I knew it wasn't going to hurt me. Like, these dogs, it was just fear. It wasn't anger or anything like that. Yeah. So for the rest of the car ride, my brother had to drive one hand on the wheel, one hand on the dog, keeping him back while he barked at me for the entire journey. It's horrifying.
See, this is why I'm not a huge fan of dogs. I don't dislike dogs, and I had a dog growing up, but it's things like this. They have the capacity for unspeakable violence that kind of puts me off ever really owning one as an adult.
Yeah.
I don't really like meeting other people's dogs either. It's always, oh, she's so friendly. And then it's like, rah, 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 and they're like right in your fucking face. It's like, get out of my personal space, please.
Yeah.
I much prefer cats. They just sort of, they don't need me, and that's fine.
Yeah. After having a cat for a year now, very much on the cat side of the fence. Cats are the best.
Yeah. I'm not willing to draw a line in the sand like that because I know people get really tribal about it. But I've had negative experiences with dogs.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard. So the key impetus of the story with my brother's dogs was that he went to doggy therapy for months.
Doggy therapy?
Wow.
Yes, that exists. So I think as exercise to try and calm him down, get him used to new places, new people. I think it went well, but unfortunately, he's back to his usual anxious self. He's just a scary dog. Well-meaning, but no, thank you. Keep him away from me.
Yeah.
A therapist.
Yeah.
Therapists?
They were at my brother's wedding wearing little tuxedos, and that was cute. But they barked through the entire ceremony.
No wonder they're furious.
Wildly.
And then, bloody hell, after the ceremony, we went out to the foyer, the place, and a horse wagon, that's what they're called, right, pulled up. One giant horse came coming out. And I was like, no, please don't. This is like the wife's beloved horse. I was like, please don't let the dogs and horse be near each other. Please, I don't want to get kicked in the face. And obviously, instantly they started barking, and they were escorted away from the premises for some photos. But Jesus, yeah, fun.
Brilliant. I once went canoeing in France, I think. We're just going down. It's like where you hire the canoes at one place, you ride them for like 40 minutes downstream, and then you drop them off with the other person who works for the company, like down the river. And as we were going along, at one point, we just noticed there was a snake in the water coming towards us, just like kind of doing a left-right wobbly body maneuver. I don't know how to describe it. Like an S.
It's slithering.
Well, yeah, but in the water. So slithering to me implies kind of going on ground. But yeah, slithering in the water, but very, very S-shaped, kind of waving left and right, just coming right towards the canoe. I think it was probably just crossing the river, but the way it had lined up, it was just coming directly at us. So again, like Mikey, we just suddenly desperately start paddling. There's nothing quite like a snake coming towards your boat to make you get some gains. So it's time for a thing. Ben, would you like to do a thing?
Sure. Oh yeah, I'll do a thing.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with the subreddit Am I the Arsehole?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've not actually taken this from Am I the Arsehole, but for people who are unfamiliar, it's when people go on there and they post their stories and they ask, am I the arsehole based on the story, or like is the other person involved the arsehole, and people have to react and let them know if they're the arsehole or not, or who is the arsehole, or if there are indeed any arseholes. I saw this story on the metro.co.uk, and I really don't know how to feel about it, because it's painted in a really ambiguous way that makes it seem like someone did the right thing by getting revenge for something that happened to them.
Right.
But they come off sounding fucking awful. And like you can see both sides, but it's really morally grey. So I want to do our own Am I the Arsehole? And I really want to know what you guys think, because I'm very conflicted. And I'm not going to read this. I'm going to try to read this quite straight without any inflection or emphasis to influence this telling of the story. But feel free to interrupt me at any point. Here we go. This is a story posted today at 3:51 p.m, the 23rd of March when we're recording, on the Metro, written by James Hockaday. And the title is Dancer Waited 8 Years for Revenge on Woman Who Ended Her Career.
Ooh.
So here we are. A former dancer has told how she waited nearly a decade to get revenge on a rival who pushed her off stage, ending her career. Landon LaRue wanted to be a dancer since she was a toddler and achieved her dream of joining a company at the age of 17. But she claims that her career came to a sudden end in a row about a boy. She said a colleague pushed her off stage after she saw her talking to her love interest. The digital marketing manager added the fall left her unable to dance and she had to leave the company. Landon, who is now 35, waited 8 years to get her revenge when a mutual friend told her nemesis was getting married. With just 3 days to go before the big day, Landon claims she called all the wedding suppliers to cancel the big day. Landon said, I always wanted to be a dancer. My mom still has pictures of me performing when I was 2 or 3 years old. There's some photos. After being enrolled in classes throughout her childhood, she made it into her dance company at just 17 years old and was the youngest there. Landon said she was shoved by a dancer who was 20 at the time as she talked to a colleague her attacker had a crush on. We were just friends. I didn't have a car, so he would drive me to church, she added. She ran up and did a cartoonish hip bash and pushed me off the stage while taking my place. At first I didn't feel anything because of the adrenaline, but then it started to hurt and my ankle was swollen. Everyone thought I was overreacting until I started to cry and I was taken to the hospital. Landon broke her ankle and it says she was devastated when she realised she'd have to drop out of the dance company as she would be in recovery for too long. I went off to university and danced as a backup option, but eventually realised I wouldn't be a dancer as I still couldn't point my foot and can't to this day, she added. Oh. Landon, from Los Angeles, says she fell into a depression and developed an eating disorder as well as a fear of heights in the aftermath of the incident. The girl never apologised for what she did. I would have fantasies of her falling off the stage, but never actually planned on doing anything, she added. Couple more photos. She said she only spotted her opportunity to exact revenge when a mutual friend at the company told her she was the maid of honour at the rival's wedding. Landon said she wasn't even getting married to the guy she had pushed me off the stage for, and she had left dancing to be a teacher. She didn't even live the life she sacrificed my career for, and I was angry. My friend had the wedding binder and left me alone with it. Landon says she took pictures of every page and waited 3 days before the wedding to call practically every vendor to cancel. She claims the photographer was a family member, so she didn't contact them, but still she had called more than enough people. She had no flowers, linen, makeup artist, venue, or caterer, but still had to pay for their services, said Landon. Sometime after the wedding, the maid of honour told me that the couple had wed in her back garden and that she had to do her own hair and makeup. Eventually, the bride found out who was responsible, and Landon apologised despite the career-ruining incident, she claims. The saboteur added, she said it was the worst day of her life, and I did feel bad about what I had done. I wanted to bury the hatchet. She had just given birth to her first baby and was feeling empathetic, so she didn't press charges. I've moved on and wouldn't do anything like that again. I'm over it. The incident scarred me for life and installed a fear of heights and an eating disorder, but I've learned how to process things after years of therapy and would act differently. If I had my time again, I would probably have sued her for the above instead of plotting a long revenge. And that's the story. Wow. Okay, immediate thoughts. Michael Johnson.
God, it's like a real villain story arc, isn't it? It's like 8 years of festering over this incident. Like, it brought my career to an end. It's unjust. God, that is tricky. I mean, it's extreme on both sides. It's extreme. It must be unbelievably sad to have your dreams stripped away from you like that from one stupid little incident. But 8 years of festering. I guess just that opportunity arose, and I was like, this is it. We're going to do it. Do or die.
Yeah, Peter Austin.
I don't.
Oh, sorry,
I don't.
Mikey, continue.
I don't think. I don't think it was justified. I think they could have, enacted revenge in a much more petty way.
Yeah.
But I guess they want to sit like if it's had serious ramifications on their life, then they want eye for an eye and all that. You want to make sure they have the same pain. But
I
God,
think
that is a hell of a move. Cancelling an entire wedding, like that's devious.
I think it's pretty obviously it's really bad what happened in the first place, to be left with like the injury and like an eating disorder and a fear of heights and a career ending thing. Like that's all terrible. I don't think anyone questions that, but it's such a like mum or grandma or teacher thing, but it's very much like two wrongs don't make a right. And I just feel like, yeah, I agree that like maybe there should have been some kind of petty revenge, like even something that is quite inconvenient and like, a bit of an asshole thing to do objectively, like painting someone's car, when people like write I am a cheat on their partner's car or something like that. That kind of thing where it's quite a strong thing to do, and it leaves someone with a financial hit and various things, but you only get like one wedding potentially, and it's like it takes you like a year or more to plan it, maybe 2 years, and to just like undo all of that, I just think there's like
it's not a very concentrated revenge, is it? It's got bigger ramifications for the greater family. It's a real,
and it's not even like kind of poetic justice. Like maybe they should have done some kind of revenge that like related to the initial incident. Like I'm not saying they should have pushed her off a stage or something, but
sent her a high heel with a broken heel or something like that.
Yeah, just something like that. But to be like, oh, you ruined my career, so I'm going to destroy your wedding. I don't know. I just think that's kind of dark, really. And also, it won't have brought that person a great deal of satisfaction or like to feel like there's a lot of justice. They might have felt in the moment that like, oh yeah, that was great, but then you're still, when the kind of the high of that has worn off, be it in a few hours or a few days or a few weeks, you're still left with, oh, I never got to be a dancer and that person cost me that and I hate them for it. And it's like, okay, so you still hate them, you're still unhappy. All you've done is ruined not just that person's wedding, but the partner that they were going to marry and all the family who were excited. And, even like the suppliers of all this stuff for the wedding, like I know they get to keep their deposits and stuff, but, they won't have had to pay like full price for everything. So many people are impacted by that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of ranting now. I think partly because I'm like very close to finishing planning a wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I totally agree though. Sorry, Mikey, go on.
No, weddings are like booked like years in advance because places get booked really quickly. So they're probably now waiting another year or so to get that venue back. Like it's
well, they got married in the garden, didn't they?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm curious how this came out, because surely if you did this, if you enacted this revenge, you'd use a false name, you would just keep hush about it, you'd watch it unfold and never speak about it. But
well, she found out who it was. It came out. Apparently, that's what it said in the article. Is that the wedding haver, the pusher, found out who it was, and she reached.
But
out.
like we just wonder how that happened.
Yeah,
how she found out.
I think everyone's the asshole in this situation, but I don't know why. Yes. I don't know why Landon, the person who got pushed off the stage and then fucked up this person's wedding, would come forward with this story, because it paints them like a really horrible person. As you said, Mikey, it's awful what happened to them. This person who pushed them was 20 years old. They should have apologized, absolutely, and it was a terrible thing to do. But her justification of she's not even a dancer anymore, she's a teacher, and she's not even getting married to the boy but like, how fucking petty can you get? Like, that's insane to fuck up this person's wedding when they've just had a kid and oh my god, it's awful.
And I would say there's a slight difference in terms of like maturity. I mean, again, it doesn't justify it, but there's a difference in maturity from like a 20-year-old pushing you off stage over a boy versus a 28-year-old ruining someone's wedding. Like, you should know better by that age. You should sort of know better by the age of 20, but you know, some people are still in a certain kind of mentality at that age where, you know, they're basically still acting like a teenager. But very few people still behave like teenagers at 28, other than this person, seemingly.
Yeah, it's pathetic, and it's a really bad look. I'm not saying she should lose her job, but as a media marketing manager, whatever the fuck she's called, that shit's going to follow her everywhere. Why would she?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
The article was weirdly ambiguous as well. Like, it didn't take a side, and I'm not really sure why or what kind of story it was trying to tell, because it just made this person that it was about look fucking awful.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
It's just both arseholes, I guess. There's no winner here.
But we don't know
both
how much
losers.
growth the other person has had in that time, you know, because they could be a
They might
totally
have
different
thought,
person
like,
now.
I've done terrible things. They might have spent their life, I mean, this is unlikely, but they might have spent their life like making donations to dancing charities because they feel terrible about what they
Visiting
did.
everyone who's broken an ankle in local hospitals and stuff. You don't.
And then it's like, hey, remember me?
I fucked up your wedding. You know, when
you're an
everything
asshole.
mysteriously went wrong at once for no reason.
Yeah.
God, awful. But there we are. That's
yeah.
my thing. Let us know what you think, people listening.
Ah, dear. Thank you for sharing that. Good to weigh in. I mean, we didn't have a strict judgment on who won there, but I mean, yeah, it's
tricky.
No one's doing well out of this.
No, I don't think so.
Why did you do this?
I don't think so. Got a question here from a tiny demon at its_Lisa_art, who says, "At what point does a nap become a sleep?" Good question.
When it's satisfying.
I think if it crosses over from daytime to nighttime, potentially, you know, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. But what if you theoretically slept for like 8 hours in the middle of the day? I'm not saying I've ever done that, but
Well, yeah, people
I would
work
call that a
nights.
sleep.
People work night shifts and stuff. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, irrespective of like my reasons for doing it, if it gets to 1 p.m. and I'm like, man, I'm really tired. If I sleep from 1 p.m. till like 8 p.m. in the summer and the sun's still up, do you still think that's a nap?
I mean, that's a good point. I think duration plays a big factor. I think, you know, because time of day matters as well. I don't think people are going to be napping at night time, realistically, depending on your day-night cycle. So if you get like 2 or 3 hours sleep and then go to work in the morning, I think that's still a sleep. That's not a nap. But if you're during your working day, whatever form that takes, or during the day where you've already had a proper sleep the night or the day before, that's probably a nap. But then if it goes on too long, it's a sleep. I don't know.
You make a good point, actually. I was going to say, for me, that like it just feels like nap becomes sleep after, I don't know exactly what, but maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. Like if you sleep for more than, let's say, 2.5 hours, I'll say 3 hours. If you sleep more than 3 hours, I was going to say, then you're sleeping. You're not napping anymore. But, you know, I think it kind of depends. Like if you slept for 3 hours in the night, if you couldn't get off until like 1 a.m. and then you had to get up at 4 for whatever reason, that's not like, oh, well, you had a nap that night. It's you had a sleep. So definitely time of day factors in.
I think you're both jumping the gun here. It's not about, you know, what happens when you close your eyes. It's about the intent before the eyes are closed. What is the purpose of this? Is it like a sleep? It denotes the end of the day. It's a reset. It's a refresh. But a nap is more of just it's a break. It's a boost. It may run over. You may have good intentions, but end up doing a big sleep. But in the end of the day, I think that still counts as a nap.
Yeah.
No matter how long it was, if you went into it hoping to, you know, just as a mild interim to your day to keep you going.
I think you're right. And also you can, I think naps are deliberate. Sleeps can just happen. Like if you fall asleep on the sofa, you could call that a nap, but it wasn't intentional. I feel like a nap is a planned recharge.
Yeah, I think you could be right. I think that's it. It's just whatever you're intending it to be is what it is, no matter how long it is or what time of day it is, really.
Yeah. That could be it. Yeah. I may have solved it there.
Nice.
Wow. Well, thanks, Tiny Demon, for that question.
Good.
We've sorted it. I have got a thing here. It's sort of a weird Wikipedia in that this does exist on Wikipedia as a write-up, but I wanted a longer, more detailed version, which I found on iflscience.com.
Okay.
But you can find this on Wikipedia. But here we go. This is written by... do we have is it at the bottom? Hello? Who wrote this? It is written by James Felton. 22nd of July 2021. IFL Science. The mouse utopia experiment that turned into an apocalypse.
Oh my god. Okay.
This gets quite intense. Over the last few hundred years, the human population of Earth has seen an increase, taking us from estimated 1 billion in 1804 to 7 billion in 2017. Throughout this time, concerns have been raised that our numbers may outgrow our ability to produce food, leading to widespread famine. Some, the Malthusians, even took a view that as resources ran out, the population would, quote, control itself through mass deaths until a sustainable population was reached. As it happens, advances in farming, changes in farming practices, and new farming technology have given us enough food to feed 10 billion people, but it's how the food is distributed which has caused mass famine and starvation. It makes you sick, doesn't it? That's lovely. As we use our resources and the climate crisis worsens, this could all change. But for now, we have always been able to produce more food than we need, even if we lack the will or ability to distribute it to those that need it. But while everyone was worried about a lack of resources, one behavioural researcher in the 1970s sought to answer a different question. What happens to society if all our appetites are catered for and all of our needs are met? The answer, according to his study, was an awful lot of cannibalism, shortly followed by an apocalypse.
Oh,
What?
Okay.
John B. Calhoun set about creating a series of experiments that would essentially cater to every need of rodents and then track the effect on the population over time. The most infamous of the experiments was named, quite dramatically, Universe 25. In this study, he took 4 breeding pairs of mice and placed them inside a utopia. The environment was designed to eliminate problems that would lead to mortality in the wild. They could access limitless food via 16 food hoppers, which were accessed via tunnels, which would feed up to 25 mice at a time, as well as water bottles just above. Nesting material was provided. The weather was kept at 20 degrees Celsius, which for those of you who aren't mice is the perfect mouse temperature. The mice were chosen for their health, obtained from the National Institute of Health breeding colony, and extreme precautions were taken to stop any disease from entering the universe. As well as this, no predators were present in the utopia, which sort of stands to reason. It's not often something is described as a utopia, but there were, but also, oh, I see, it's a real funny sentence here. It's not often something is described as a utopia, but also there were lions there picking us all off one by one. That's just them saying it stands to reason that there were no predators. Right. So thanks for that, writer. The experiment began, and as you'd expect, the mice used the time that would normally be wasted in foraging for food and shelter for having excessive amounts of sexual intercourse.
Hey,
yes.
Get in there.
About every 55 days, the population doubled as the mice filled their most desirable space within the pen, where access to the food tunnels was of ease. When population hit 620, keep in mind we started with 8 mice, that slowed to doubling around every 145 days as the mouse society began to hit problems. The mice split off into groups, and those that could not find a role in these groups found themselves with nowhere to go.
Oh.
In the normal course of events in a natural ecological setting, somewhat more young survive to maturity than are necessary to replace their dying or senescent established associates, Calhoun wrote in 1972. The excess that find no social niches emigrate. Here, the excess could not emigrate because there was nowhere else to go. So the mice that found themselves with no social role to fill, and there are only so many head mouse roles, became isolated. Males who failed withdrew physically and psychologically. They became very inactive and aggregated in large pools near the center of the floor of the universe. From this point, they no longer initiated interaction with their established associates, nor did their behaviour elicit attack by territorial males. Even so, they became characterised by many wounds and much scar tissue as a result of attacks by other withdrawn males. Oh. So, unusually, they weren't being attacked by dominant males, which is what would happen in the wild. The dominant males didn't even see these kind of outcasts as a threat, but these groups of outcasts that all just gathered together would just attack each other for no reason. It's sad. It's pretty dark, this whole thing, but I'll continue. The withdrawn males would not respond during attacks, just lying there immobile. Later on, they would attack others in the same pattern. The female counterparts of these isolated males withdrew as well. Some mice spent their days preening themselves, shunning mating, and never engaging in fighting, and due to this, they had excellent fur coats and were dubbed, somewhat disconcertingly, the beautiful ones. Oh. The breakdown of usual mouse behaviour wasn't just limited to the outsiders, though. The alpha male mice became extremely aggressive, attacking others with no motivation for gain for themselves, and regularly raped both males and females.
Jesus.
Violent encounters sometimes ended in mouse-on-mouse cannibalism. Despite, or perhaps because, their every need was being catered for, mothers would abandon their young or merely just forget about them entirely, leaving them to fend for themselves. The mother mice also became aggressive towards trespassers to their nests, with males that would normally fill this role banished to other parts of the utopia. This aggression spilled over, and the mothers would regularly kill their young. Infant mortality in some territories of the utopia reached 90%.
Wow.
This, though, was all during the first phase of the downfall of the utopia. In the phase Calhoun termed the second death, whatever young mice survived the attacks from their mothers and others would grow up around these unusual mouse behaviours. As a result, they never learned usual mice behaviours, and many showed little or no interest in mating, preferring to just eat and preen themselves alone. The population peaked at 2,200, wow, short of the actual 3,000 mouse capacity of the universe, and from there came the decline. Many of the mice weren't interested in breeding and retired to the upper decks of the enclosure, while the others formed into violent gangs below, which would regularly attack and cannibalise other groups as well as their own. The low birth rate and high infant mortality rate combined with the violence, and soon the entire colony was extinct. During the mousepocalypse, food remained ample and their every need completely met. Calhoun termed what he saw as the cause of the collapse behavioural sink. For an animal so simple as a mouse, the most complex behaviours involved the interrelated set of courtship, maternal care, territorial defence, and hierarchical intra-group and intergroup social organisation, he concluded to his study. When behaviours related to these functions fail to mature, there is no development of social organisation and no reproduction. As in the case of my study, all members of the population will age and eventually die, and the species will die out. He believed the mouse experiment may also apply to humans, and warned of a day where, God forbid, all our needs are met. For an animal so complex as man, there's no logical reason why a comparable sequence of events should not also lead to species extinction. If opportunities for role fulfillment fall far short of the demand by those capable of filling roles and having expectancies to do so, only violence and disruption of our social organisation can follow. So he reckons that basically if we find ourselves in a world where we don't have anything to do, we don't have roles to fill because everything is done for us, perhaps maybe in a world where robots do all of our jobs and we are just left to enjoy leisure time and food and sex. Seemingly, the way that things go is violence, complete, social disorder, and perhaps even cannibalism. That might be unlikely, but you never know.
Wow.
Jesus.
So I hope I've successfully brought you down at the end of this comedy podcast.
Well, we're all going to be safe because as long as we all have to wipe our own asses, we will never have every need met.
No, that's true. We will have a purpose in life.
And I think that will be one of the last problems to be eliminated, if there are any. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone's going to get on that anytime soon.
Hey, Japan with the automated bidet
I don't
toilets.
think anyone's going to get on that anytime soon, Michael.
For our own safety, we must ignore the bidets.
We must use terrible, scratchy toilet paper for the rest of our lives.
God, it's amazing. I guess, yeah, when you want for nothing and there's no fear, you kind of manifest your own, like, I guess it's just very dull eventually.
Yeah.
And you start to go a bit stir crazy, and you're trying to fire off those nice receptors in your brain to make you feel something, and you just goes completely bonkers.
And maybe, I mean, I'm no behavioral scientist, so this is purely speculative, but like maybe even though all your needs are met and you've got for example, all the food that you need, maybe then that just becomes kind of the baseline in your head. Like, yeah, well, I take that as read, take that for granted. What I want is even more food than that. And so you then become defensive and territorial around more food than you even need. Like, you just want to protect and hoard more stuff than you even require. So it's not even enough that like every need is met. It's that no matter what needs are met, I guess people will always be competitive and people will always be territorial in like a kind of messed up way.
Maybe Mark Zuckerberg is a good example of this. Is the man wants and needs for nothing, yet he continues down a more tyrannical path of essentially world domination.
Yeah.
So maybe if we're all given what we need at all times, we'd all turn into Zuckerbergs.
Yeah, you're right.
Entirely possible. Or just want more.
Yeah.
More and more.
I googled the Mass Experiment because I wanted to see it, and there's some wonderful pictures.
Yeah, there's like black and white photos of the universe that they lived in.
I've got to say though, when someone utters the words "mouse utopia," I picture like lovely little bright landscape with little tiny cars that they drive around and all that. It's very much a fortress of
Green
food
hills,
and water.
But yeah, no, it's just hoppers and food and sawdust.
It's very much functional. It's a functional utopia.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they need to try again with a more exciting utopia. Where...
Tiny cars, a little like bakery on the high street.
It's not a utopia until the mice can drive.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They need hobbies, man.
Wow. Well, thank you, Peter, for that thing.
You're welcome. I hope you're suitably haunted now.
Very haunted.
So, got a final question here. Other than your DBP interactions through Vidiots, have any of you ever had any other memorable celebrity interactions? For me, I once met Ainsley Give Your Meat a Good Old Rub Harriet while on a school trip to the BBC. Good story. Thank you, Sean Harris, I should say, at Sean Harris Film on Twitter.
Thank you, Sean Harris. I've encountered a few famouses at various times. I think the one most relevant to us, though, is when I very briefly, in passing, met Peter Serafinowicz, otherwise known as Brian Butterfield, our favourite boy, and the voice of Darth Maul, of course.
The voice of Darth Maul, please.
He's very talented. He's also in Shaun of the Dead, and he did a fantastic sketch show as well. Kitchen Garden. Great. Brilliant. Funny stuff. He was at EGX one year because he played the voice of a character in Dark Souls 2.
Right.
And that was being showcased there. And there he was at one of the booths, looking really cool in a leather jacket, playing the demo for Dark Souls 2. And I have encountered famouses since that point where I've thought, I don't want to bother them. I'm not going to go say anything.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a bit nervous. But I did actually go over and I tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hi, Peter, I'm a huge fan." And he went, "Oh, thanks so much." And I was like, "No problem." And then I walked away, and that was it. And that was my interaction with Peter Serafinowicz.
Nice. I've seen famous people just, in a restaurant or whatever in the street. Not that many, but people have seen famous people out and about before. I can't even think who necessarily, but I don't know if I've ever sort of properly interacted with any of them. I do have a story that I'm sure I will have told before on the podcast because it's kind of one of my favorite not my anecdotes, which is that a friend of mine who lived in London for a time, she was in like a Waterstones or something. She was just buying a present for someone. and she said that she was in there and there was all this kind of crowd and there was like people everywhere and stuff. She's like, what's going on here? And she was kind of standing in the middle of the room looking around at like all these people. And then suddenly someone kind of came up behind her and was trying to like get past, to tap her on the shoulder. And she turned around and it was Gordon Ramsay. And he said,
"Oh my God."
He said, excuse me, you're here for the book signing? And she said, oh, no. And he said, well, get out the fucking way then. Which is excellent, because if you're ever going to have an encounter with Gordon Ramsay, you want him to use the F word with you.
That's it.
I think.
That is it.
I think through my line of work, being a video producer for some productions and adverts and all that good stuff, I had the blessing of meeting like several high-profile YouTubers, the majority of which are not. I don't know who they are. I'm just like, oh, here's this guy who's got 7 million subscribers. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Can you say these lines, please? But
he's got a big number next to his name.
the best, most bizarre interaction was with Carl Walker, England footballer, where we had a Yogscast sponsored shoot where it was Lewis and Simon played Fallout 76 with an England footballer.
What? What?
It was truly bizarre and the most awkward thing I've ever had the pleasure of watching. It was genuinely amazing. This poor man had no idea what to do with these two guys. And I don't think Lewis and Simon knew what to do with Carl either. It was just like lots of little chit chat. It was all going very well. And then Lewis got on the subject of mermaids and asked Carl Walker if he'd had sex with a mermaid. And
Right.
he just kind of shut down. I don't think my wife would like that.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
And there's a point in the game where Simon finds a football and he just goes, Kyle, look, it's you, it's a football. He's just that. They're like, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I am Kyle Walker and I am paid £2 million a week.
Yes.
What am I doing here?
Oh, it was
Why are they asking me about mermaids? Why aren't we playing Why are we playing Fallout? Why aren't we playing FIFA?
Yes, that was a fun one. Met, I can't remember his actual name now. Jay from The In-Betweeners.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
what's his
because
name?
he does YouTube, doesn't he? Or it's Twitch.
He
he's
does Twitch stuff.
Yeah,
I think.
James Buckley. Yeah, he's pretty much transitioned full time to Twitch now. It's his main job. So we had him as like an advocate for Asus, for an ROG laptop. He was lovely, very, very, very well spoken, very lovely man. It was a pleasure meeting him. He's the complete opposite of his character in The In-Betweeners in every imaginable
As you would
way.
hope.
Yes. If he walked in like, "What's up, Bellends?" I'd be quite taken aback.
Good, this guy.
Oh, no, he was lovely. I guess, yeah, it's just we've all had the experience of pooing in the office next to big name YouTubers. So,
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Excellent.
yeah, good times.
So good. I was trying to find a name. I was just going through the Game of Thrones cast. You know Ilaria Sand
Not by name,
from
no.
Game of
but I'll-
Thrones season 4? Yeah, no, I didn't know her by name, but I knew exactly who she was. Let me send you a link. You'll probably recognize her. She hangs out with you know,
With the
his lot,
Mandalorian.
with the Mandalorians lot, you know.
I've Googled her.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
Played by Indira Varma. When I worked for Splash Damage, I went along to a voice recording for one of their games, Dirty Bomb, and she does some announcing in that, and I got to meet her and watch her do a voiceover session, and she was very professional and extremely intimidating in person.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I once shared an economy flight from London to Newcastle with then, I think, England football team manager or coach, whatever the word is, Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Oh, really?
That's cool. I thought you were going to say shared a sandwich. I once shared a sandwich
Oh, that'd be lovely.
With Sven.
with Sven.
My dad once sat on a plane next to Steve Coogan for hours.
Wow.
And I think I don't know if he didn't recognize him at the time, or if he was sort of trying to think, who is this? Or because my dad knows who Steve Coogan is. I don't know. I think maybe he just didn't clock who was sitting next to me. He hadn't really looked at the guy's face. But whenever he tells that story, it's like, oh, did you speak to him? Did you speak to him? He's like, no, I got off the plane, and then I kind of thought, yeah, that was Steve Coogan, wasn't it? So, but yeah, hours sitting next to him, and he didn't say a word to him.
Should have said, aha, I bet he'd love
Yeah,
that.
I bet he's never heard that. He'd love
Absolutely
that.
love that. God. Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much for those questions, Peter.
You're welcome. Thank you, audience, for sending them to me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Mikey, there's some kind of store. Is that correct?
You're damn right. There's a store. Oh, that felt weird. Sorry about that. Store.yogscast.com. It's a lovely, wonderful, magical place filled with just goodies beyond the mind's wildest imagination. Truly, it's a magical place. But the bestest bit of the whole website is our little section of t-shirts, hoodie, mugs, littered with designs of meat faces and mongooses and PS1 logos, everything you could need. Actually, my Podiots mug, the handle is due to snap off soon, and if the repairs don't go very well, I will be buying a new one. Ooh. But if you want, I highly recommend buying a mug. I think
they're really good though. They won't break on you, we promise.
No, it's just mine. You know, I'm a heavy user of mugs. So
yeah,
I
slams it down on the desk every time.
Yeah, we've got a lovely selection of goodies, and if you want to, Archie, there's no discount codes. I forgot about that. Nope. Keep your eye on the Yogscast Twitter, where there's occasionally discounts such as free worldwide shipping, which is a hell of a deal, to be honest. So yeah, do keep your eye out for that. It's usually around major holidays and whatnot. But yeah, store.yogscast.com. Treat yourself. Go on, you're worth it. Do it.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook,
all.com/Vidiots
official. bit.ly/Vidiots official Discord. That's with camel case. If you want to go say hello to some like-minded people, there's I don't know, maybe 12 people who are active in it.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people who are probably listening to this who are already in the Discord but just haven't been on in ages. So go say hi. There are people there. Also, twitch.tv/Vidiots Discord. No, Vidiots Official. That's the other one. Vidiots Official, we stream sometimes, as we did a couple of weeks ago. There you go. Streamlabs.com/Podiots donations. Donate £3 or more to get a shout out at the beginning and the end of the show and join Pod Squad. Mikey's going to start running through these again now.
Bram Stoker-on-Trent. A humble pair of giant tits. The generous pro trainer. Raindrop Joy. Stephen Skodes. Can't shack it. You know it's all about Dacoum. Vidiots is not a cult. Ploppy McPlopface. Mr. Black, but 2 weeks late. What's the French for 19? Dinu Hargotin? Very good. I'm complimenting myself there. Deal with it. 19 Hargotin. I'll take it. Scotch egg. Big Titty Jesus 42. Keys. Billy Ray Cypress had a big shit. And the generous, I can be trusted with a gun, he, and the slightly threatening one as well.
Also, Don Acco 7, Finn Tristram, Rip Scott Hall, Ben returns to F1, who was very generous, Big Ben 2, Massive Mohammed, Mr. Blobby's Blobber Job, VidiotsOfficial.com, Bargain Hunt Butt Plug, Peter Pumpkin Fucker, Ben Will You Marry Me, Mr. Blobby Becomes a Roofer, I've sharted so I'll finish, the very generous Mystic Chegg, Skipton Castle is best castle, Bartek, who is very generous, Ben Potter is Kevin Magnuson, and fucking Sandwich Travesty.
Sorry to interrupt, but have we ever actually... Is Massive Mohammed ever been discussed on this podcast?
No, that's lost on me entirely. I don't know what that is.
That's from an old, joke article where it was proposed Big Ben to be renamed Massive Mohammed.
That's right.
Yeah, it's very good to hear that again. Good fun.
Monskaz.swf, Mucky Pete Bin, Open Vlad, I wanna Putin Diz nuts. Yep. Just keep swimming, Ash. Mr. Black on time this time. Peter Yuck, anyone's yum, Austin. Mr. Macca, the very generous Lonely Marmite Sandwich. Nasty name for Ben to say out loud. Fingy comes outer bum stinky. Thank you. Pack of Dave Benson and Hedges. The very generous Bobbly Noriho. Tommy the Spank Engine. Prince Beefcakes. And Wilma Dick Fit. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining Pod Squad. Once again, £3 or more, streamlabs.com/Podiots donations. There we are. Peter, is there anything out on Vidiots this week? 4 years ago.
Flipping loads, because last time we did one, I believe, was on the 8th of March, and it's this episode. Has it been that long since we put an episode out? I suppose it has.
Jesus. God.
Yeah, because it would have been yesterday, but it's next week, so that is right. So, we've got a few to catch up on. Very fittingly, the first one is Worst Games Ever, Little Britain the Video Game.
Nice.
Nice.
On the 9th of March. Skyrim Zoo Chapter 2, Drafts Fortune. Possum Tat number 4, Meth Head Pokemon. Memory Cards, March 12th, which is WWE Crush Hour, Condemned, etc. Prove It, Pokemon Yellow version Part 2. So we're getting close now to Pamuseg. Becoming the Tomb Raider. That's when we went out on that event.
Oh, yeah. That was good fun.
It was fun. We left, what's his name behind? Giles or something.
Yes, Rip, whatever his name was.
Left 4 Dead 2 Steering Wheel Challenge, piece of cake.
It's a favourite of mine.
Prove It, Pokemon Yellow version, live action challenge. I regretted that one as we did it. It was just so eggy and smelly and, not good. Skyrim Zoo Chapter 3, Funeral for a Friend. Rest in peace, Uncle Giraffe. Memory Cards, March 19th. Konami, Wind Waker, Pokemon something. It's been cut off. Trolling each other in Playlink's Frantics.
Yes.
God,
that wasn't a brand deal, and then suddenly it became a brand deal after we filmed it, and then they had a lot of changes to the video. Like, why have you done it like this? And it was sort of, well, hang on, it became a brand deal after we made it.
Yeah.
So we had to go back in and I think reshoot it, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, I think we might have done. Yeah.
Kind of annoying, but there we are.
Podiots episode 2, doing a Dharma. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry for starting Podiots with so much murder at all. I don't know what came into me.
As you mean to go on.
It also says Peter had a scare cut. That's when the guy put a lighter in my ear.
Oh, yeah.
Possum Tat number 5, Billy Ray Dolorous. Still have Billy Ray Dolorous. Skyrim Zoo Chapter 4, Horsing Around. Where am I going up to? The 29th. We've still got loads here. Worst Games Ever, London Racer. Memory Cards, March 26th. StarCraft, Bioshock Infinite, etc. 5 irrefutable ways microtransactions will get your parents back together. Yeah. Good list.
It's true.
Possum Tat number 6, What Have You Done? I don't remember. Wallace and Gromit's Impossible Train Game, piece of cake.
Yes.
Prove It, The Sims, Part 1. I've overshot. Oh, you have to. That's for next time.
Oh, a tease.
Forget you heard that.
Yeah.
Spoilers, you'll never know.
We got Hat Films in for the live action challenge of that, didn't we? That was good.
Oh, it was very good.
I remember that because I accidentally called one of them by the wrong name.
Did you?
Yeah. I called Smith Ross or something. It was a little bit embarrassing. It was like sitting them down in front of the camera to do like little interview segments. I just misnamed them. I was like, sorry.
It's not often talked about whenever we talk about our favourite Prove-Its, but I think that's one of our best ones. You know, the talking head segments where they're all different real estate companies.
Johnson and Son.
Yeah. And they're coming in and inspecting the properties. I think it's great.
They did really well.
Yeah, it was great. And they were like completely unprimed, unscripted. Like me and Ben made, I mean, again, this will probably come up in the next podcast when we do 4 years ago on Vidiots, but we just made 2 houses out of cardboard, got them to come in, and they're just, they're natural entertainers, yeah. Talking headers.
No, they were fantastic.
They were. I'll have to rewatch that at some point. It's a good video.
We'll save it for the next charity stream.
Maybe we should do that.
We'll all enjoy that. Yes. Wonderful. Well, Michael Johnson, where can people find you on the internet?
At Paraboy on Twitter's where I put my spewings, my internet dealings. That's the best place to keep up with me, what I'm doing, and when I'm streaming. It's been a bit of a drought of streaming recently. I'm not going to promise that's going to change. It's really hard to justify staying indoors when it's so sunny outside. But I will endeavour to return, probably with some Souls games now. Elden Ring has got me by the neck and I can't stop.
Hell yeah. Peter Austin, where are we?
We are individually on Twitter at confused_dude and at thatpeterAustin. But together, we are making content on Team Triple Jump on YouTube and Twitch, also Twitter and Facebook. So head over there to see how Billy Ray Walrus is doing and Rules Boss and see whether we've learned how to cook yet. We haven't.
We haven't. New episode of Main Menu came out very recently. Go check it out. Wonderful. Well, why not leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. Do we have a final question before we disappear?
I want to hear more input on the ballet story and who is the bigger arsehole here.
The dancer, yeah. The wedding ruiner.
Yeah, let's not give the audience the same niceties we gave ourselves, where we didn't have to have a binary answer of who was worse. You and the audience, who was the more evil one? Can't say both of them, just the one of them.
Black or white.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, and you look after yourselves. Goodbye, everybody.
Please.
Bye.
Bye.